Okay. So, David, I have a question for you.
Sounds like a plan, Tanner.
Is there a movie in the Mission Impossible series where they don't go rogue?
I don't believe so. I was going to answer your first off-mic question about they go rogue or something, where I was going to point out that the first 4 Mission Impossible movies, the villain of each one is a IMF agent gone bad or a former IMF agent.
Yep.
So they went to that well a lot. But famously, spoilers for anyone who's never seen the first Mission Impossible, because I'm gonna give away the premise. At the time, fans of the 60s TV show were really not into this first movie because they kill off the team and frame Tom Cruise, when the whole point of the original show was, like, the teamwork and the, like, banter between the crew.
Right.
So it wasn't until, like, the 4th Mission Impossible movie that they actually brought in that angle from the TV show.
Right.
And made that the centerfold. But at the time, this movie was very divisive because they're immediately rogue. He is an immediate rogue agent in the first one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. And by the way, everybody, welcome. This is a multiversal archivist, joined by his best friend David to ponder the conundrum that is Mission Impossible before we watch Mission Impossible. And then the second to last Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning.
From my attitude.
But, like, I'm really thinking, because in 1, they go rogue. In 2, he goes rogue because they don't want him to be with that lady. In 3, he goes rogue because he's blackmailed about his wife, so he steals from them. In 4, the whole point of... Because 4 is Ghost Protocol, right?
Yeah, they've initiated Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, which is the whole point. Anymore. Yeah, which is kind of... Would they go rogue from the government? And then 5 is Rogue Nation, right? Is 5 Rogue Nation?
I don't remember if they go rogue in 5, because they're fighting the Rogue Nation, but maybe to fight them...
Well, no, because,
about whether...
Because, remember, Tom Cruise goes rogue in that one, because he goes into hiding, and Alec Baldwin is trying to hunt him down for most of that movie. That's 5, right, with Rogue Nation?
I believe so, but in 6... In one of them, Alec Baldwin's his biggest fan. I think in Fallout, Alec Baldwin won't shut up about how Ethan Hunt is the greatest guy that ever lived.
Fallout may be the only one where they don't go rogue, but technically the FBI is hunting them. So does that I guess you have to establish what going rogue means. Like, does going rogue just mean going rogue against IMF? Because then if that's the case, 6 is technically they don't go rogue in 6 because Alec Baldwin is in on the sting to figure out that Henry Cavill is the bad guy. And
right.
The FBI doesn't like them, but technically they don't go quote-unquote rogue because IMF is... I mean, technically they break that dude out of a police caravan thing, but it's all under the guise of IMF, so I guess the only one you can argue is the last 2, because he doesn't go rogue in... Well, no, he attacks the IMF headquarters in Dead Reckoning. He does that thing at the beginning where he gasses the IMF meeting and it sneaks out. So technically he goes rogue in 7 to a point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 6 is the only one.
And he's on the run in 7 because of the evil entity watching over everything. So, like, which we'll get into, but, like... Yeah, so he's on the run in that one. If not from the government itself, from something even above the government, an AI that now rules us all.
Yeah. I think 6 is the only one you could argue where, like, he doesn't necessarily go rogue. Like, he does pretend to be a criminal in 6 because he pretends to be the dude that the White Widow works with. But he's not necessarily fighting IMF in that movie. He's just... Oh, but
there are people that mistrust him in that one, right? Because that's why Alec Baldwin has to be like, you shut your mouth. You don't question Ethan Hunt's...
Well, remember, in that movie, they think he's John Lark. They think he's Henry Cavill for a bit. Like, Henry Cavill's like, maybe Tom Cruise has finally gone mad and is trying to blow up the world. And even if I remember correctly, even Angela Bassett or whatever, whoever the FBI lady is, like, I don't know, that sounds pretty crazy given all that he's done for the world. But they still do, like, the FBI, like, doesn't trust him from what I remember, or at least is like, hey, maybe we should bring this guy in. That's funny though. That is legitimately like a whole entire movie franchise just built on the idea of one guy going rogue over and over again.
Yeah. No, I don't think you ever actually see them on a. I guess that's kind of the It makes this series stand out from like a James Bond because like famously James Bond has only gone rogue a couple of times, once in a Timothy Dalton and once in Quantum of Solace.
Right.
But otherwise, he's always on the winning team.
No, he's a patriot.
Yeah, and I think Fallout is the one where they actually make it a plot point because they even say like, "Oh, Ethan Hunt has been betrayed over and over again by the government. He's done nothing but good things to and tried to help."
That's Henry Cavill's pitch to why he's evil, because Henry Cavill's like, wouldn't you go rogue too? Wouldn't you want to blow up the world too if you've been constantly betrayed by your own nation and have still saved the world time and time again?
Yeah. So at least they're self-aware. I don't think that was on purpose, but I think they've I guess they've decided that's kind of the theme of the series overall because of how many times it happens.
That is so funny. Yeah, well, so on that note, today we're going to be watching 2 Mission Impossible movies. We didn't have enough time to main the whole series before Final Reckoning, so we're going to watch the first one, and then we're going to watch then we're going to watch then we're going to watch Dead Reckoning, and to go into
Dead Reckoning Part Tanner. Dead Reckoning Part 1.
No, because they changed it. Remember? It's Dead Reckoning, yes. and then the title now of the last movie is Final Reckoning.
Yeah, so I'm actually curious because I think it was in the theater Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes,
I don't know if they got rid of that for home media to retcon it.
Oh, they probably just did a new event. They probably just did what Disney did instead of set an update file to change all the titling of Thunderbolts to New Avengers.
But before we jump in though, Tanner, what motivated you for this? What are your thoughts on Mission Impossible overall? Besides that, it's weird that he's always a rogue agent. But more broadly, like, what's your relationship with the series? What are you feeling about this new one?
It's such a fascinating, like I don't know. Film Crit Hulk did like a little thing. I did read. He had a little thought that he penned on Final Reckoning, talking about it being like a gift horse. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and that like these Mission Impossible movies are kind of a gift horse, and that they're a little long in the tooth. It's not a bad read, but like I know it's been getting a lot of hate. Final Reckoning.
Not even. Hold on, sorry to just cut you off before you even get going, but like. Not a lot of hate. That's what's fascinating to me and what makes me kind of worried about it. Also, I will request no spoilers because I actually still don't know much about what happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know anything about it either. So.
But I actually don't want to know too much. But what's kind of interesting to me is that it's gotten very divisive reviews, but all of them are from the point of view of people who really love the series, kind of being like, "Man, I wish this had more juice," or like. I kind of wish this ended on a bigger note. So it's not just like, oh, let's dogpile on a bad movie or whatever. It's actually coming from, like, more heartbroken people. And, like, actually, to this review you're talking about, yeah, like, a lot of people being like, oh, it seems weird, I shouldn't complain, but something doesn't sit right with me about this movie.
I guess it really depends on, like, what you go in to a Mission Impossible movie expecting. Like, if it can, and people have talked about this, and this is part of the problem with it, but like, that is a series built on like one-upping itself, and eventually you can't one-up yourself anymore, right? Like, eventually you have to hit a ceiling. And what's hard about Mission Impossible is these newer movies have built themselves around like this idea of going larger than life, right? Fallout is literally talk, action scene, talk, action scene, talk, action scene. And it does it so well and so fast that like any glaring issues you have with the plot or anything, it's very hard to like pinpoint it because you are going so fast through that movie and you are just hitting dopamine highs like every 20 minutes that like it's very hard to contextualize because I'm sure that movie has issues, right? Like it's probably the best of the series, but it's got to have issues.
I'll push back on that, but it is very good. It is a high point of the series.
What's your favorite one of the series? Is it Ghost Protocol?
I'm actually I'm a Ghost Protocol dude, and this is gonna stun you rigid, but I think I might even put Rogue Nation a little bit above Fallout.
Rogue Nation has that really good scene where he does the water heist, and then afterwards he has to drive.
Like endurance breath holding is like a really good sequence for me, like one of the best.
Yeah, and it leads to a really good like scene where like Tom Cruise is just being weird through that entire car chase. Like I watched a clip yesterday where Benji is like, "Are you sure you should drive? You were dead like 5 minutes ago." And Tom Cruise has the funniest look on his face as he stares at Benny and goes, "What are you talking about?" It's kind of like the most humanizing that Tom Cruise has ever been after a big stunt, because usually he just gets up and just like goes back to Tom Cruising after he does the big thing. But no, like in Rogue Nation, he does that, dies, gets resuscitated, and is clearly not like totally right in the head. And it's kind of fascinating because they don't really do that for any other big action scene. Like he just gets up and continues doing what he's doing.
Very much so, yeah. Like it's one of the few times he has like lingering like that kind of he's in shock or whatever from the.
Yeah, he literally looks at Benji like he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, because he clearly doesn't remember it or is in shock at the moment. But yeah, I mean, so I don't fault you. The Rogue Nation doesn't entirely surprise me, because Rogue Nation also has that really good opera scene with the assassination. That's what I was going to bring
up, was that the opera scene I think is one of the best they've ever done. Yep. I think the motorcycle chase is pretty rad, and I think the introductions of Ilsa and Solomon Grundy in that one are really awesome.
Yep.
And I mean, Fallout has some contender stuff. It's got the skydiving. It's got Henry Cavill, who's maybe the best bad guy in the series. It's got the never-ending pyrotechnics of that last half hour, but
Fallout has that really complicated like switcheroo thing, and Alec Baldwin doesn't do that movie any favors in it, and not even remotely.
And speaking of people who don't do the movie any favors, 5 does have Jeremy Renner like doing like Bucky Barnes like tribunal kind of shit like before Congress. That's totally nothing.
Yeah, but at the very least, it's I think that Baldwin's much better in 5 because I like his little hunt for Ethan Hunt in that movie, and then it turning into like, oh, be careful what you wish for, because now you're the new person in charge of this whole thing, because you hunted it down so well. That's a really good journey as well. That kind of gets to nothing, because in the next movie he's Ethan Hunt's fanboy, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, no. So like in terms of like Final Reckoning, I gotta admit I don't remember much about Dead Reckoning, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of excited to revisit it, because
me too, and also it's why I'm both excited to revisit but a little worried, because a lot of what I've sort of skimmed and seen in reactions to Final Reckoning, I'm kind of like, ooh, that was a little bit of what I was starting to feel with Dead Reckoning. Like, it was overall a thumbs up, but I did find that one a little flabbier.
What do you remember being flabbiest about it?
I remember it starting really strong, and having like good stretches. Like I like the whole opening with the bomb, which we're gonna watch. I like the. I actually don't mind the entity. I know some people say, "Oh, it's too sci-fi for me," but I kind of like it as the final bad guy. That's like
well, and it's
idea.
also is so Tom Cruise in this world where more and more movies and TV shows are using AI. Not to get like, because I know people have this is not a new connection I'm making, but it does feel a little like it's Tom Cruise fighting, the way Hollywood is going at the moment, and I do kind of dig that.
What he pulls, which is what he pulls in Top Gun Maverick as well, because all of that's about how like, nah, man, you can't beat a real person in a plane or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like you. Whatever, however weird and hokey the Mission Impossible movies are, like, Tom Cruise is out there making real movies, man. Like that is at the end of the day a big draw of these movies, and I think that's why I've told you that Maverick story before, but like I'm sure I've said it on screen before as well. But like I live in a very small town with a very small town movie theater, and I have always gone to the midnight openings, usually my theater plays it early at like Thursday at 6. They'll be like, fuck it, let's put Thunderbolts or New Avengers or whatever it's called, let's put it on the big screen, because who's gonna fucking tell us either way. So consistently, I go to these movies as soon as they come out, except for Thunderbolts, which I've started 4 times and have still not finished.
Man, that might just not be your cup of tea.
It's crazy, man, because again, everybody's like,
you've given it a good try. You know what I mean? Like you've been very fair to that movie.
It is so, and it's not even because I hate it or anything. It's just always because something distracts me, and I just never go back to it. But yeah, I've legitimately started that movie 4 times. Have gotten usually I get to the part where like they meet Bob and they escape from the place, and I'm just like, I gotta go make dinner, and then I just never come back to it. But for the most part, I go to these movies in theaters when they come out, and consistently. It doesn't matter if it's the brand spanking new Marvel movie. There is like 4 people in my theater.
Yeah.
The only time this theater has ever been packed is when Top Gun Maverick came out. And it was perfect storm because it was 4th of July weekend or whatever. I don't remember if it was Memorial Weekend or
people would have had more time off or whatever.
Yeah.
Usual, so yeah, maybe that might have been a factor. But either way, like lying around the block.
It was that busy, and like that's just because Tom Cruise makes movies that people want to see, and part of the reason why they want to see it is because he's a crazy ass man who wants to kill himself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw an interview, but he said he'd be doing this until he was 112, which I was like, yeah.
And actually, he and Ana de Armas, they just announced one of his next movies is going to be him and the Edge of Tomorrow director and American-made director Doug Liman is going to be a deep sea diver, like a no snorkel diver movie with him and then him and Ana de Armas are now training to do the endurance breathing.
God, yeah.
So
I mean, this man is literally
right into another stunt movie.
This man is literally gonna kill himself in a movie, and he's just gonna be known for that, and he's gonna be known as the only actor who died. Well, not the only actor who died during a movie, but the only actor who willingly died on a movie set, and that's how he wanted to go out. But yeah, I mean, this guy he makes real movies, and so yeah, it makes total sense that if this is going to be his last Mission Impossible movie, which we'll see, but if it's going to be his last Mission Impossible movie, then yeah, he's got to fight AI, the big scary boogeyman of the modern world that we live in.
A very frightening, possibility of AI overtaking everything. They just dropped. Now you can do speech to video, not just speech to AI image, and it looks like pretty photorealistic and is fooling people, and that terrifies me.
I watched a video yesterday of like it was like a guy during a SeaWorld performance who got like grabbed by the orca and dragged off, and there was like a little bit of weirdness because like I couldn't figure out when the orca actually grabbed him and dragged him off, but like I just thought I wasn't seeing it properly, so I clicked on the comments and everybody was like, oh yeah, this is a fake AI video, and I was like, what? Because like it could have easily just been that like the camera angle didn't allow me to see him getting grabbed by the orca, but like everything else looks super super realistic, and that is terrifying, man. Like that is legitimately terrifying. Like I've been doing D&D, and I've been making my own. I've graduated to doing GM stuff. So like I'm a games master for D&D. And I do find AI very helpful for me because I'm not an artist, because I don't necessarily have. I'm not a drawer. My artistic is in writing.
Not with that attitude.
Well, I can make a mean stick figure. But like for me, drawing is not. So I do rely on, and I'll go to DeviantArt and like Pinterest and stuff to find stuff before I'll turn to AI. But AI does help me to contextualize what is in my head. And I will go to a real drawing as much as I can, but sometimes you do need stuff like that. But like the idea of photo,
whatever. I'm not trying to tell people how to.
Well, again, I agree with you, and it's always best to go with like somebody who, find something real out there.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it with when we actually discuss our evil AI, the entity, in the next.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation to have about AI and stuff. But yeah, again, it is terrifying what AI can do, and I am glad that Tom Cruise is fighting it in his last movie. I think that is a very good villain.
Yeah, and I have heard light spoilers for Final Reckoning, but I guess like the premise, which I guess they kind of get into in Dead Reckoning, if I'm remembering right, is they basically say like Ethan Hunt is so crazy and amazing that no AI or algorithm could ever predict his actions, and that's why he's the only person who can stop it, which is very funny. But yeah, and I guess to do my quick spiel on the series, like, it's very funny because I kind of created the world that I'm now angry about, because as a kid, I was none too keen on these Mission Impossibles. I didn't really watch them. I kind of had a bent of, which is why I was into, like, Godzilla and comic books and what have you. I sort of needed a more fantastical element to enjoy my action movies. So, like,
right.
I kind of didn't watch a lot of regular action till like probably my teen or high school years. Like it was not something I really grew up with any of these. I know a couple of friends who like had this first one on tape and like say like, oh, I can recite this movie because I watched it so many times on TV and at home and whatnot. But yeah, that was not really my thing. It wasn't actually till Ghost Protocol.
Well, that's the thing, right?
To get like.
Ghost Protocol is the one that usually brings people on board.
Though, disclaimer before, this is actually going to be kind of interesting that we're watching the first and last ones, because something I do miss, even though I overall enjoy the stunt-heavy ones, I kind of liked how the first 5 were almost like an anthology, where each film they would pick an interesting director, and they would bring a really their own style and vibe to it. And then from Rogue Nation onward, yeah, like it's all Christopher McQuarrie directing from then on out. They do run together a little bit for me, like in the way that like we were even kind of like, wait, was that Fallout or Rogue Nation or which one?
Well, because they are a formula now, and it's a damn good formula. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's probably one of the better. Like if you're thinking movie formulas, I would struggle to think of a movie formula that's as good as the Mission Impossible formula that can do kind of this. Because not even the Fast and Furious series, which is very formulaic as well, I would say it doesn't hold a candle to like Mission Impossible's formula. Like above and beyond, Mission Impossible has figured out what it is about, but what it is about is very, very good compared to like any other, your like your Final Destinations and your Fast and Furious, like movies that again follow a very similar formula every single movie.
Very much. And among my like snooty film fan crowd, yeah, I know the consensus tends to be that Mission Impossible is the best summer blockbuster series, like in terms of your quality. And I mean that's a bigger conversation to have, but like I don't disagree. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely got that real movie magic that people miss all the time.
Oh yeah,
and
and that's why I would be very like Final Reckoning to take it back because like you did ask what kind of how I feel about Final Reckoning. Like even if it's not amazing, or even if it's not even the best of these movies, like I ultimately think it'll come out as a good movie just because again this formula is so rock solid, and maybe it is starting to show its kind of flaws at this 11th hour, but like at the same time, like as long as it goes out with a bang, it's Mission Impossible, right? Like that's all that you can hope for.
Pretty much everyone is saying that like the two big set pieces of Final Reckoning are like maybe the best in the series. Like people are really hyping up the action and stunts as like jaw-dropping. People's problem seems to be that it takes 90 minutes to get there and it's a 3-hour movie, kind of unnecessarily, because it's part 2 of 2, so you'd think you could just hit the ground running, but I guess there's a lot of, like, flashbacks and exposition.
Well, I remember Dead Reckoning is also very talky, but I remember kind of enjoying it, because if I'm not misremembering, like, they suddenly went really lore-heavy with the IMF and Tom Cruise, like, to a point where I was like, what is all this? This has never been implied before, but like I kind of dug it. Like didn't they like start talking about like how the IMF recruited Ethan and like how all of them got recruited?
There's some flashback we've not resolved yet with the villain who's like the human avatar of the entity. He and Ethan Hunt have a past together.
And
Ethan Kraft there.
And it's like implied with Haley Atwell that like all of IMF used to be bad guys that got recruited, or at least like, oh, I was a pickpocket back in the days.
That's why we're due for a rewatch, because that's maybe.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
There was something like that if I remember correctly. But you know what? That's what, like you said, it is time for a rewatch. As a matter of fact, because I am watching mine.
My copy is 1 hour 50 minutes.
Are you? Seconds. I assume you're watching without any ads. Any of those
I'm watching ad-free and my own personal copy.
All right, well.
Brian De Palma, who I know directed a movie you're very fond of.
God, I fucking love. Oh, it's not Rear Window. Let me hang on. I can do this. No, I can't. What movie is it? Because it's not Rear Window. It's his version of Rear Window, right?
It's like remake of Rear Window.
Fucking. God dang it, I don't remember. What's that movie called? Good Friend.
2 words.
I know it's 2 words.
Four syllables. Do.
It's something. It's like something Curtin, isn't it?
No,
it's fucking.
It's about twins splitting more than one of something.
Dang it, just tell me.
Might have a term related to stunt manning, speaking of Mission Impossible.
Isn't it? It's Body Double.
That's right. Ding!
Body Double! I fucking knew it. Fucking love that movie. If ever there was a movie just to like if I ran a movie theater, I would play that shit every Sunday, and it would just be me staring at the audience. Like, I wouldn't even watch the movie. I would just be like, okay, you all can come in and watch this movie. You can I wouldn't even charge them money. I'd be like, I'll play this Body Double for free, but you have to be okay. You have to consent to me staring at you while you watch this movie, and also we have to have a conversation afterwards. Like all of us, like I'll do it 15 people. 15 people. You come in, you watch it. You let me stare at you while you watch it, and then afterwards, I'll host an after movie luncheon where we can sit in a circle.
Yeah, you'd be like Christ with the disciples or whatever. You'd be on the hill just talking about Body Double.
Yeah.
movies.
I would love to I just want to hear people's opinion on it. I just want to know what's going on through their head. No, if we ever make it big in this, I'm gonna pull a page off of our good friend of, well, not good friend of the channel, but mutual enjoyer of written things, Film Crit Hulk. I'm just gonna start playing Twitch showings every month of Body Double, and everybody could just come in and talk about it. Every month is Body Double night. Yep. Oh God.
I like this. In the book and movie White Noise, the main character has perfected a branch of a university just called Hitler Studies, where it's all just Hitler studies about Hitler. And you could do that, but Body Double studies would be
I could.
But yeah, before we begin, just real quick, so Brian De Palma, director of Carrie, of Scarface, famously, he's often accused of just ripping off Hitchcock, but with more sex and violence. I think that's unfair. But he's a weird filmmaker, because he's very, he's talked about interviews where he's like, I think Hitchcock figured out how to make a movie perfect, so why should I, come up with new shots and whatnot? And all of his movies kind of have this, meta level of, how much of it is a movie in a movie. Like, Body Double is kind of the most extreme version of that.
Yeah, but he does it so, besides just Body Double, which is the greatest movie ever, there are several movies of his that are just super, super good. It's just a very good filmmaker.
Snake Eyes, a favorite of ours.
Yep, Snake Eyes. Yep. What's another Brian De Palma movie?
What do you got? Untouchables is a great one.
Yep.
You got Carrie, obviously, and then Blowout with John Travolta, where he records the accident on sound. Scarface and Carlito's Way, which I do love. His two Al Pacino doing an accent movies. Have you seen Raising Cain with John Lithgow?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
That is a deranged movie. That's a fun one. The Fury we should do a commentary on. That's his other horror psychic power movie after Carrie.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Phantom of the Paradise, of course, the wacky rock musical, Phantom of the Opera.
I think that's another one that I've seen through a Twitch
stream.
A Twitch stream, yeah.
But yeah, he rules. And it's kind of funny because this will probably be my first time watching it since I've become acquainted more with the Brian De Palma, so I'll be kind of more locked into that part of it. But either way, my copy is 1 hour, 50 minutes, 12 seconds.
I'm 1:52, 13, and I only have one ad in the very middle of the thing, so it looks like we're good. All right, so we are going to go ahead and jump into it. Everybody watching at home, you can go ahead and start. I will count us down. We will go in 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm hitting play. The old-timey Paramount logo.
That old-timey Paramount.
The stars are twirling around it. There was a funny meme from a couple years ago of my favorite character, Kittredge. It shows him in this first one, and then it shows him in Final Reckoning, and in between, it says low ink in cartridge. To make a joke about how much grayer these movies have gotten, and I don't disagree. But anyway, right away, very De Palma-y, because we're doing surveillance.
Yep.
And watching movies in a movie. So good for old De Palma. And we're in Kiev. And our boy Emilio Estevez, who, spoiler alert, doesn't last too long in this movie.
No, he doesn't.
This whole team does not make it too far. Alrighty, though, it's kind of wild how much this feels more like a Brian De Palma movie than a Mission Impossible. Look, there's blood.
Yeah. I do think you make a very good point about how Mission Impossible did used to be Oh, you got your John Woo is doing one. You got your Brian De
Exactly.
Palma's doing one.
And then you got your Brad Bird of The Incredibles for Ghost Protocol, which might be why it's my favorite, because all of his I think he works really well for the Rube Goldberg action scenes of this franchise.
Well, even 3 has that feeling to it. Is that it? No, 3's not a J.J. Abrams one, right?
3 is a J.J. Abrams.
That's
film.
right. I remember it with all those lens flares.
Yep. I think 3 is one of the weaker ones, but it has Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's the best villain of all of them. So it's he kind of brings it up a letter grade.
3 also is good in the fact that it has a God, look at that young ass Tom Cruise.
The first mask rip.
I know, isn't it crazy? How fucking young he looks with his. But three's good too, because it's also a Ethan Hunt that's kind of on the back burner for a lot of it. He's not really doing too great, and that's always kind of nice to see a hero actually, be a little not the greatest.
No, he's genuinely scared and on the run from Philip Seymour Hoffman for a lot of that movie. He's actually kind of on his toes in that one.
The scene where he begs for Michelle Ramazanboo's or whatever last name is, her life is really, really good.
Yeah, that part's pretty great. And that is the one where we first meet our Simon Pegg there.
Yeah.
Who's yeah. Oh, but see, Edgar Wright was actually going to do 4 or 5, so at one point they were just going to keep doing a different director for each one, but then he and Christopher McQuarrie clicked as a duo and never went back.
That was a prophesized arrangement.
Yep,
that was Leonardo DiCaprio and
Scorsese there.
Yeah, your Scorsese's,
or a Tom Hanks and Spielberg, as we've got done in the past. Yeah, and John Voight, father of Angelina Jolie.
God, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, who we recently watched in Henry Zerny. Sorry, that's Kittredge. There, you need to pick a side.
I forgot that Ving Rhames is in these movies from 1. He really got in the ground floor on this.
Yeah, he gets to kind of be the oldest friend of Ethan Hunt, because I think he's the only one besides Cruise that goes through all of them. What was I saying about? Oh yeah, we just watched John Voight in recent commentary Megalopolis, where he shoots Aubrey Plaza with his boner gun at the end of that movie. And says the famous line, I mean famous to me, "What do you think of this boner I got?" Nope, IMF.
The guy sounds familiar. Pretty sure that's Kittredge.
Well, I think it might be.
Oh look, it's the Charlie's Angel plot with the knock list.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember enough about Charlie's Angels.
You weren't a big Charlie's Angels fan?
It was not, neither the show or the Lucy Liu movies. The Drew Barrymore.
Did you love you love the new one, right? Which had a girl. What? You never saw Kristen Stewart herself?
Never saw the K Stewart one. I saw the one we talked about this on Inland Empire, the Justin Theroux one, where he's the evil boyfriend or something.
Yep.
And these characters are all going to be dead in 10 minutes. Spoilers.
And Ethan Hunt will be your point man as usual. I love how it's kind of funny how this movie is he's not even the main person. I mean, he becomes the main person, but oh yeah, that's just your dude. your regular degular dude, Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, he's not even at this point, his legend has not grown as the most amazing agent to ever exist or whatever. He was just one of a team. Which again, like, this was supposed to shock you, like, if you were a fan of the if you were coming into this movie like, oh, I remember watching that show in the 60s, you would sit down and be like, okay, we're getting the team together, but then you would be, like, shocked at how they subverted it by killing them all very early.
Is Ethan Hunt the main character in the TV show, or is he,
I don't believe so. I think he is, an original,
he's not even in the OG movies. Or in the OG TV show.
No, he just... Yep. I believe John Voight is playing the main guy from the... his character, Jim Phelps, was the leader of the team in the show, and that was another part that pissed fans off, because they're like, he was the noble leader, but in this one he's, spoiler alert, the villain of the film. So yeah, this first movie was really like, was like The Last Jedi if you were a Mission Impossible TV show fan. You were like, how dare they betray these beloved characters by making him a jerk or whatever.
Oh, Leonard Nimoy was in the original show.
And Martin Landau, who I think was very mad, because he's famously like kind of a crotchety asshole, but he went on some rants about how this stupid movie, the young sex appeal and whatever, it has none of the good values of the 60s show. Like, he was very mad at OG De Palma Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, there is not an Ethan Hunt in the TV show.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Imagine that, like, making a whole character that just steals the whole identity of what, like imagine trying to show somebody Mission Impossible, a TV show. Now they'd be like, where's Ethan Hunt?
Yeah, they'd be like, no, it's all about that Jim Phelps. You remember John Voight from the first one, right? But eventually, yeah, since they went far enough in the franchise, and I think that started to happen over time. Like, circa the 2000s, there was more of a, it should really more reflect the spirit of the whole franchise, not just be its own thing. So that's why the movies start sort of feeling more like the show in tone as it goes on.
Do they? What's the tone of the show is, I guess, campiness? Or
the show had a lot of the show had a lot of team banter, and it was always I'll be here on the camera pushing these buttons, and we're gonna make you the mask, and there'd be people talking on the earpiece.
Oh yeah, so that's why Ethan got all his buddies back. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. That's why from 3 or 4 onward, it's Ethan leading a team, whereas in this one, in the John Woo one, he's more of a lone.
Even in the third one, he is. It's just really him in the third one. He has that team for the beginning, but then they kind of
dissipate. Yeah. So So the spirit of the show, which is what pissed all the fans off about this first movie, was it was all about the camaraderie and teamwork. But then it just, that stupid Tom Cruise took it over.
I feel like this is a given, but what's your favorite spy franchise?
I mean, it's got to be Bond, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't have protested if you had thrown out another one.
Yeah, I mean, Mission Impossible is good, but like I said, I think it's just part of my bias towards more fantastical stuff, and Bond tends to have crazier gadgets and weird monster men.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing.
What do you think is the weakest of the spy franchise?
Oh, probably one I can't even remember, right? I liked, actually, one that I enjoyed, I watched recently was, I forget the character's name, but it's the Ipcris File and a couple of sequels with Michael Caine, and he was, kind of a pencil pusher dweeb with glasses, but was a super spy, and people liked him in the 60s, because he was kind of a refreshing contrast to, how James Bond was so cool and sexy.
Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty good.
So I did like those ones that I watched of Henry something or Harry Call. I'm probably mixing him up with someone else. But anyway, let me look up
I'd have to say I know this is gonna, if we're without looking any up, I'd have to probably say Jason Bourne is the weakest of them, because I really don't.
I watched them all through once in preparation for like one of the newest one where they brought Matt Damon back, and they have some cool moments. But I don't know. Yeah, those ones I never have felt a strong urge to go back to. Really,
Yeah.
they don't. They don't do very much for me. I like the
Yeah.
first one the most of those where he's fighting at least Clive Owen as the evil sniper. That at least gave it some juice.
I really just remember the first one. All the other ones kind of, it's kind of the same with, like you said, how the Mission Impossible start to blur together. The Jason Bourne start to blur together as well, but not in a way that I would say is as good as the Mission Impossible ones blurring together. Like I couldn't remember, like I remember the sniper fight, but I couldn't have told you whether it was in the second or the first one until you said that it was in the first one.
The first one stands out because it's direct actually by Edge of Tomorrow's Doug Liman, and it's kind of shot more conventional. But then all the ones subsequent are Paul Greengrass, who does all the shaky, gritty camera, which has some cool parts. But yeah, they all look very the same.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of there's a lot of blurring together of that franchise.
But let's see, you got your Kingsman, you got your
I
Jack
am
Ryan.
I am a fan of Kingsman. I don't know if I would. How would I put it above Jason Bourne? I probably would put it above Jason Bourne.
They're about. I think I like Kingsman 1 more, and then subsequently like it's just kind of diminishing returns for that series. For
Right.
me. Like it's just like I like that a little less, like that a little less, but it's got good stuff. Oh, Cats and Dogs, definitely. That's I'm looking at the Wikipedia list of spy films. There aren't actually that many like major.
Yeah, and I'm talking franchises, not one-off. Because if it's one-offs, Black Bag is like the best one ever.
Yeah,
so it doesn't count. It has to be more. There has to be more than one.
Spy Kids, Triple X, Johnny English.
Yeah. Okay, so I would put Jason Bourne above Triple X, even though I really kind of have a real love of the first and second one. The third one is god awful, and I would say the second. I like the second one only because it was very much an early 2000 movies for me. Like if I was sick, I'd watch Ice Cube fight William Dafoe for an hour and giggle.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
For that era, yeah, will always be fun. But you weren't too keen on Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage.
No, it's god awful. It's so bad. The first one's interesting because again, so at least that series has like a really interesting hook because the point of that series is that he's a rebel that they make into a spy, and he goes immediately to deal with other rebels. Like that whole movie is very 2000 because it's basically a grunge movie. He's just in Prague like with a bunch of other greasy looking dudes talking about overthrowing governments.
I remember that that first one has the like Vin Diesel's like that wasn't the deal, and Sam Jackson's like I changed the deal or whatever. Yeah. So I guess they just do that a bunch. That he's always cast out by his.
Well, in the second one they say he's dead, and then they're like, so in the second one they say he's dead. That's why they have to recruit Ice Cube.
Ice Cube is the new Triple X.
And then when they did the new one, they're like, well, I guess he can't be dead because we need to bring Vin Diesel back. So fuck it, he wasn't dead. It was just all a ruse. So yeah, Triple X.
Triple X might be the best besides the big two of this and Bond.
So yeah, but I would put Triple X below Jason Bourne. There you go.
And we should, I guess, try some Jack Ryan out, because I don't know him as much, but he's Harrison Ford, and then Ben Affleck, and then John Krasinski, and Chris Pine, so, there's been a lot of him.
I've seen the Chris Pine, Jack Ryan, and I've watched some of the Krasinski show, but not a lot of it.
Did not blow you away?
I don't really remember being particularly like, oh, wow.
I guess there's the famous French franchise which has gone back from the 60s, which is like spy comedies called OSS 117, but I've not watched any of those, so I can't comment on them. Are
the Naked Gun movies any good?
Yeah, they are. I guess those are more like I would put them. Even though they're parodies, but they're also cop movies. Like he's a cop, much like your like Lethal Weapon. I guess like I wouldn't call that a spy movie, right?
Okay, so it's more of a spy, and more of a isn't are those that's Get Smart, isn't it? That is more like
yeah. Which actually I didn't mention it, but it was on the Wikipedia list of franchises. Get Smart technically. Get Smart is actually the original show I've seen a little bit of, and it's very funny. It's actually got like good like Mel Brooksy kind of humor.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I guess that's one of my favorite spy franchises, even though I don't care much one way or the other about the Steve Carell movie. But I remember it kind of bothering me that he's bumbling in the Steve Carell movie. Because the joke of Get Smart is that even though he's like incompetent, he was very suave and everyone respected him on the show. And that was kind of more the joke, but in the movie they're all like, "This guy's no spy," and I didn't find that as funny a joke. Oh, Austin Powers, I guess that would count, right?
Oh, Austin Powers. That's a whole conversation to have, because like I actually do really enjoy. Well, maybe again it's nostalgia because I kind of grew up watching them. Because my dad's side of the family is very into your raunchy comedies, like your Billy Madison and your Adam Sandler's and your Austin Powers. Yeah. So like I saw them quite a bit. So I do kind of have a lot of love for those movies. But are they actually good? Is the question, and that's a harder thing to answer.
Yeah, that's a tougher call. I kind of have a soft spot. The second one I remember seeing at a sleepover when I was like very young, and it was one of the first like kind of not for children movies I ever saw.
Right. Like, ooh, this is sexy. There are boobies in this, and I'm not allowed to watch them boobies.
Exactly, and you know he drinks the poop in that one of Fat Bastard.
Yeah. He says it's nutty.
Yes, it tastes like shit. It is shit. Oh, so it's not just me. And I believe here is where things get exciting, because I think he gets smushed, if I'm remembering this motion picture. Emilio Estevez here. R.I.P.
What is this death trap? What is this movie? What is this elevator death trap? Like, did you see that shit? It's a saw.
Like spikes came out for no reason, just to make it extra painful when he gets. Would you rather be killed by spikes or just smushed by a flat elevator? Probably the flat elevator.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be smushed than impaled. Sounds like a better way to go out.
Yeah, it looks like you're impaled and then smushed in that situation, so like, yeah, that sucks worse. But yeah, look, man, like, not a lot of focus on Tom Cruise at the moment, since he's, just part of...
He's just a point man, he's just his number 2.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Fast Bastards number 2.
No. Yeah, I don't think he drinks poop in this one.
No.
Now, Dead Reckoning, this is going to be kind of interesting to watch back-to-back, because don't they show this, not this scene in particular, but they kind of shoot at the exact same, like, proggy kind of bridge to give it some, like,
kind of, sort feeling, of. Right? Yeah, I think so. My biggest hope for Final Reckoning is they, like, computer matrix him into a simulation where he has to redo all of his biggest stunts from every movie.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That's kind of the vibe the trailer was giving.
Well, yeah, they show him like some kind of fucking Matrix chair.
Yeah, if he had to like, if Tom Cruise like speed runs, have to like as like it's almost like at the end of a video game where you have to
boss gauntlet. Yeah,
like. They make older Tom Cruise run through every single previous stunt in like 2 minutes or something.
I doubt that'll be what happens, but it would be I would be extremely pleased if that happened. If they're just like, okay, Tom Cruise, every big stunt you've ever done, we're gonna have you do it all again at the current age that you're in. Because they would progressively get harder. Because the first one would be the rappel into the room, and then the motorcycle jump. Then the third one is where he jumps off of that building and free parachutes down to the other building.
Would he have to do? Would he have to do the rock climbing from the second one?
Which one's the better stunt? Is it the rock climbing, or is it when he does that bike jump and shoots? Yeah.
I guess we'll go with the motorcycle, because the fourth one he'd have to do the Burj Khalifa, which is climbing. So he could we could put that there. Or the fourth one, sorry, would be the Burj.
Yeah, they put him back on that fucking tower again. It just be like, okay, you gotta climb up again. I just think that would be so funny to watch.
And then suddenly he's back skydiving with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap, I gotta do this again.
And then in Rogue Nation, he's hanging off that plane again. He's like, oh, crap.
He's gonna have to go, ah! I will say in the trailer for Final Reckoning, that biplane looks pretty sweet.
It does look pretty sweet. I'm so curious about how it ends up there as well. Like, why is he on that biplane?
I don't know. My prediction, listeners, mark it, see if I'm right or wrong. I'm gonna guess that it's like a function of the entity is taken over all technology before past a year, so we have to go back to these World War I fighter.
So we gotta go low tech
to avoid detection or something. I don't know. Let's see if we'll mark it. See if that's what actually.
Look at his young boy haircut. Look at his young boy haircut. He looks like he's in the fucking Scouts right now. He's about to go take a lesson in night and not tying.
Yep. Same year as Jerry Maguire, by the way. This movie, both 96.
So fucking funny. Jerry Maguire commentary is out for those of you listening. I highly recommend it.
I'm excited to revisit. We should also, as an upcoming commentary, do Vanilla Sky, which was Tom Cruise and Cameron Crowe coming together again for a weird sci-fi Matrix kind of movie, actually. Speaking of, it's a, what is reality?
I would be very interested in Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, so that we should put that one on the to-do list for more of our Tom Cruise commentaries.
I would, that one, and
Impossible.
I'd love to check out American Made again, because I feel like that was his last, scumbag role, and I kind of remember really enjoying seeing that charisma directed in a very negative way.
Yeah, very much so. That might be his last time he played a flawed character in that way.
Yeah.
We gotta do a bunch of them. We should do Magnolia, where he's an all-time, he's like a weird MRA, teaching you how to tame women, self-help guy.
Cocktail, which is also really good.
Which one's real good?
Cocktail. Or whatever.
Cocktail.
Yeah, Cocktail.
I was thinking of Red Tails, I think because I was still thinking of biplanes. Oh no, he lost his lady love there.
It's a ongoing theme in his life.
Yep. Which again, I guess I'll be seeing Dead Reckoning, but it feels like they recreate. It almost feels like they wanted to flash back to this, but maybe the actor wasn't. Because that whole scene where we're going to learn some stuff about the first person he lost or something feels like this scene. But I don't know for sure.
It's time to go rogue, Tom Cruise.
Yep, he's been left out in the cold.
Is this the first time he ever goes rogue? Is there any other movies where he's gone rogue? I guess this is his first military type role, right? Is this before or after Maverick?
Maybe. Well, I guess military type, he is the lead in Born in the 4th of July, but that's a different military thing. That's the vet who came back in a wheelchair and became a big anti-war protester, so that's probably not what we're talking about.
That's not the same. Not the exact same thing, no.
That's not an action film. But let me look. Let's take a magical journey through Tom Cruise's filmography to see where he's where his action career takes off. I guess would be kind of interesting to see.
Kit Ridge.
Oh wait! I gotta.
Your most favorite person is
Endless Love, Taps, Losing It, The Outsiders, Risky Business, all the right moves. Oh wait, yeah, 86 is Top Gun, so I guess that would be his first.
So this is after Top Gun, right?
Yeah, it's 10 years after Top Gun.
Wait. This is 10 years after Top Gun?
Top Gun is 86, this is 96.
That is fucking crazy.
And we've talked about this before, Tom Cruise, real life vampire, because he stayed youthful for a shockingly long time.
That
and
is
now it's
so...
finally kind of caught up.
That is so fucking crazy, man. This is a decade after Top Gun.
Yeah.
Did he do any military action guy type stuff between these two movies? Between those two movies?
Mike's got Days of Thunder, where he's the, race car driver, which was from the director of Top Gun and trying to, Tony Scott trying to do the same thing, but in the world of race car driving. And that's where he gets sexy with Nicole Kidman, and they fell in love.
This is a
far and away A Few Good Men, which again, military, but not an action movie, like a tribunal trial movie.
So he took a decade off of being military action man and
Yeah, I guess the only action movies, are Top Gun, Days of Thunder, Mission Impossible would be the only. The year before Top Gun, he is in Legend, which we do have to do, the Ridley Scott one, where he's running around with the unicorns. I do like that movie. I do have a soft spot for it, mainly because Tim Curry plays the Prince of Darkness, and he's like a really cool devil makeup, like maybe the coolest Satan in a movie.
Oh, that does sound pretty cool.
Anyway, forget everything, because Kittredge is in
the house. Your boy's in there, and he's in maybe the best restaurant I've ever seen.
Yeah, all these fishies are great.
There's a literal ceiling of fishes above them.
Yep.
That could be Simon Pegg in the background.
a very young Simon Pegg it would have to be. Like maybe baby Simon Pegg. Now, if I'm remembering right, spoilers, I think some of these fish tanks are going to explode.
Yeah.
Water's going to go everywhere.
I still can't believe this is a decade after Top Gun. That's so funny.
Yeah, man, he was a sexy young man for many decades. And now it's finally caught up with him. Like, if in those Final Reckoning trailers, he does have pretty big jowls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's kind of looking more... He's kind of looking more and more like Michael Bay. Every year that passes.
Okay. No, definitely. He's getting in that direction.
His hair's going longer and longer. His face is coming more jowly.
Yep. But yeah, for a while there, people were always joking, like, where's that immortality serum that Tom Cruise is clearly drinking? And that's why. That's why, because he looks the same between Top Gun and this one.
That's why Scientology should really be selling with that. Like, hey, you could look like Tom Cruise if you join us.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't totally work because the other most famous Scientologist is John Travolta, and that dude is kind of not exactly had the Tom Cruise trajectory.
Yeah, but they could wave that away by just saying, "Hey, Travolta always looked weird. It's not our fault that our serum didn't work on him the same way."
Rejected it. He rejected his body. Rejected it, or what?
I mean, Tom Cruise. I mean, again, nothing against John Travolta, but that man has always looked somewhat strange.
Yeah, he's a handsome-looking man.
He's handsome, but in a very kind of unique way. Like, he doesn't...
He's not as chiseled as Tom. Tom Cruise looks like a Greek statue or something, Very classically handsome man.
Yeah.
With his dead shark eyes, though. That were always... I mean, I will admit, like, I'm big team Tom Cruise now. Took me a little bit. In my youth, I definitely was a little more on the team that was like... There's something kind of, like, a little off-putting in his intensity.
No, I mean, like, dude is...
Like, he's better...
Dude is batshit insane as a human being, but, like...
Yeah, like see our previous episode, Jerry Maguire. Like, that's him, like, being, like, charming in quotation marks. Like, trying to be, like, grinning a lot and, like, hey, I'm just a cool guy. But you're like, this guy's kind of scaring me. I do think he works better, when there's, like, a flaw, or he's, like, kind of somewhat on the edge of, bursting. Which is why Collateral is such a good movie, because him just full-on, like, really leans into the scariness of Tom Cruise.
Oh, so wait, they do give him like a he has a father and a mother in this. That's right.
Crazy.
They just talked about his mom and his dad and his dad's illness and his parents' farm. I wonder how that... Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch this right next to Dead Reckoning, because Dead Reckoning implies, I think, a very different past than what they
backstory,
just... Yeah.
And it's kind of also... Yeah, it's odd. I'd have to watch them in a row to know what
Well, we would be watching them in a row, too. Even better.
Or, I mean, like, I wonder if the other ones talk about that. Because, yeah, from...
No. I mean, I can't talk about 3 because it's been a long time since I've seen 3, which I think is the only one that, like, gives any hint to what his backstory might be, because he has a fiance in that one, but I can guarantee you that the other ones don't really... God, this is a really cool looking action scene. Look at him, like, running like he's on the beach right now.
I know, he's like he's doing Baywatch, but it's to get rid of, like, it's to avoid this enormous tidal wave. And look at all these dead fish everywhere.
But yeah, I think the only ones that really imply his backstory is this one and the final one. But 3 isn't
even implying a backstory, because 3 is like he's trying to settle down and start a family.
Yeah, but I could have swore, like, at one point, because it starts at that fancy dinner party, and her friends are, like, talking about how... Her friends are asking her how she met this guy and stuff, so I think he implies some stuff about his backstory there, but I don't remember. I think this and the last one are the only ones that are like, hey, this is what I'm all about in the past. Look at him, look at all fucking freaked out.
What?
Look at him looking all freaked out, throwing glass on the floor.
Yeah. Good old panic Tom Cruise.
What would be your Tom Cruise superhero pick? I'm sure we've had this conversation before, but...
I don't know, because, like, he was famously almost Tony Stark when they were trying to make Iron Man initially.
And people still want that, because every time they talk about a Tony Stark variant, they're like, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is going to be evil Tony Stark or whatever.
Yep.
I think we talked about Morlum. Yeah, it was a good pick for Tom Cruise.
Yes, that would be a good pick.
Yeah, if we do him all as statty, and he's just like, he'd be running, because he would just be chasing Spider-Man.
He would be running. I honestly can't think of a good, like superhero pick for him.
I mean, I guess it would be fine if he was, like, a Martian Manhunter who was just a dude for the most part, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be fine. And only occasionally turns into a CGI what have you. But yeah, that's a tougher one. Oh, you know what? Because of all the stunts and death-defying feats, if they ever do a New Gods movie, make him Mr. Miracle.
Oh, you've cracked it. You've cracked the code. God, you put him in... and isn't he... He's short, right? Because remember, one of Mr. Miracle's
thing is taller.
He gets Big Barda. Yes! You've cracked the code. You need to write that letter.
A 90s era New Gods movie, and then you get, like, maybe at the time, since they were together making movies together, Nicole Kidman as Big Barda.
Oh! Put me in that universe. Put me in that universe. I would watch the shit out of that.
I'm just doing Eyes Wide Shut casting, and you get Sidney Pollack there, his buddy at the end with the pool ball, make him Darkseid.
I think you even now in modern days, I think Tom Cruise, Mr. Miracle would work.
Yeah.
You would need to do is make the movie as like, oh, I escaped from fucking apocalypse like years ago, and I've just been living on Earth as a stuntman that entire time until finally, because they're gods, right? So like, Darkseid can come get him whenever he wants, right? Like, oh, I've waited 30 years for this moment. I don't know, 30 years is nothing to a god.
That's because, I mean, the whole thing with Darkseid is that he, has the treaty with New Genesis, so he can't actually mess with the Earth like directly, so he always has to find sneaky ways. So yeah, that could explain why he's been away for 30 years or whatever. Look at these old ass emails.
I know, an AOL chat room and everything.
Yep, sitting in his underwear in a chit chat room. He looks real deranged, just writing weird biblical stuff to this Max guy. But you know what? QWERTY IOP has stuck around.
God, he looks so like normal. Look at him. He could be just fucking in the Bronx, about to have a beer and sit in front of the TV, the tube.
Yeah, man. That's what I was kind of getting at with him in his underwear. It feels like a late night, just like, you know, I'm like a 32-year-old man, you know, ASL. He's ASLing with people like in his apartment with a beer. Oh, there's the evil John Voight. Sorry, spoilers.
Well, he doesn't look evil at all.
No, you're right. He's on the level.
Yeah, he looks...
And he's the main character from the TV show.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
He's gotta be alright. Though I forget, is this actually he shows up dead?
No,
here,
I'm pretty sure this is a dream.
A dream.
You know, Brian De Palma likes his subverting.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, oh, this wasn't reality. Oh, and now this is a bit of a De Palma thing that I'm less enchanted by. Is I think he kind of slaps this lady around in the scene,
Yeah.
which feels a little different from the Ethan Hunt we've come to know. I could be misremembering, but I think he's a little more of a Bond in this, where he's, you know, sometimes not great to the ladies. But I guess he does think she might be a traitor, so I guess it's not excusable. But it's he's on edge right now.
He's a little as Nicolas Cage would say, he's a little wired. He's a little crazy.
Yeah. How'd it get burned?
About to try and convince fucking Christopher Eccleston to take that car deal.
Yeah. You gotta do it, man. 100 cars, like you promised. I don't even remember.
It was 50.
It was 50. Yeah, see, he's like manhandling this lady in a way that the Ethan Hawke I know and love.
I don't know, man. She seems kind of into it.
I mean, I don't know. Bit of that Streetcar Named Desire, energy.
When are we gonna get another Tom Cruise villain movie? When's that guy gonna go back to play the villain?
The last time he was a bad man? Yeah. I don't remember.
He needs to go back.
I guess Tropic Thunder. It might be Collateral, honestly, because he's almost purely an action. I mean, I guess he kind of sucks in Edge of Tomorrow, but he has a redemption. Is kind of the.
Yeah, he becomes a good guy. Oh, he's been disavowed. He's gonna have to go rogue.
He's gonna Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. No. Yeah, $100,000 ended up in his parents' bank account, so that's why they.
Which is like what, $5 now in moderns?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I might actually be the opposite, because I think most modern people who have an average of $2,000 to $3,000 in their bank account on a given moment would be pretty down for $100,000.
Oh, I'm sure he'll believe you.
you're not dead, I'm gonna kill you soon. Oh no, run the opposite. Now, spoilers for the very end of this movie, but I believe she does turn out to be crooked at the end.
Probably.
It's been a minute.
Do 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 do. They should play this thing more often. Like there should be like a TV-esque montage right now of him slowly walking up to do.
It should be, but it ain't. Though this music is by Danny Elfman.
Oh yeah.
And now he's talking to this is Lucius Malfoy.
That did look a lot like Lucius Malfoy.
Now, the Queen, Vanessa Kirby, in those new ones, isn't she the the daughter of one of these guys, right?
Is she?
I think like one of his, maybe not these guys, but like his contact from the first one. I think she's his daughter, is the idea. And she's like carrying on the legacy. I do like this crazy ass scarecrow mask.
Actually, that could have been another good Tom Cruise role too. Scarecrow.
Well, if he was Jonathan Crane in a movie, yeah.
Max is a woman. Gasp.
But yes, she is in fact the daughter of this woman, that character.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, but the White Widow there is. It mentions something like, because I remember, that being a thing in Fallout or whichever one she's first introduced in, where she's like, oh yes, my mother was spoke highly of you or whatever. No, that's quite out of the question, blah blah blah. She's playing with his ears.
Do you like having your ears played with? Is that an erogenous zone for you? I know it's a very weird question to be asked, but...
Yeah, since we're putting everything on the record, sure, I can answer that. No.
Yeah, I'm not a big let's have my ears played with either.
Like PDA kind of way, it's fun, but it doesn't turn me on, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't get your motor revving, right?
Yeah, but if someone wants to go like, oh, look at your cute little ears and wiggle them around, yeah, I'd find that kind of endearing, but I would not be like, man, you're getting me horny right now.
I concur. I'm not an ear guy either.
Yeah, so no. This scene was not formative for me, where I discovered my ear tugging fetish.
Yeah, just your love of older women.
Yeah, my love of older women.
Yeah,
you
saw this Max woman and was like, yeah, give me some of that.
And now I can't get where I need to go unless my bedroom partner, pretends to be an old lady and pulls on my ears. Anyway, on that note, I can't believe we're letting that subside into radio silence.
What else would it subside into?
Let that stay with our listeners.
This dude looks fucking like Frankenstein a little bit. His mouth voice. look at his coat. His coat makes him look like he has ginormous shoulders.
Yeah, he looks like Have you seen Stop Making Sense, the Talking Heads concert movie?
Yeah.
He looks like the big suit that David Byrne wears in that, where it's one size too big. Oh, now you got wacky scientists.
What the hell is going on? What are they all unbutton their jacket?
I don't know. This feels like a freaking musical number almost about to begin, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something. The scientists are gonna do a song and dance.
It's so fucking weird.
Oh, there's my boy Kittredge, dressed like Sam Spade.
I was about to say he looks a lot like fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Valiant. It looks like Valiant.
He does look like Eddie Valiant.
Or like Roger Rabbit when he wears it.
Yep. Yeah, she, a beautiful blonde, walked into my office one day. She had a case for me.
Kittredge is a fucking handsome dude, man. Those eyes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that might be why he's my favorite. I don't know why. I've always just liked this character. He's weirdly stuck with me, even though he's not in the next 7 of them or whatever. But when they first showed him in the trailer for Dead Reckoning, I was like, oh hell yeah, he's back. And like I said, in the trailer he goes, "You need to pick a side." Like, he says it so intense, and I was like, that's so cool. That's the best line delivery I've ever heard. But then in the actual Dead Reckoning movie, he says it much less dramatically, and I'm like, why didn't they use that take from the trailer?
God, fucking Tom Cruise looks so fucking unhinged.
I know, it's crazy, man.
Look at his eyes are fucking the size of fucking silver dollars. His smile's too big.
Yeah, he's got all that Xenu energy. No, look. Xenu is the villain of Scientology. They don't worship, like, people always, when they're making fun of Scientology, say, "Hail Xenu." But that's not correct, because Xenu is the villain. He's the
evil alien.
Do you know the creation myth of Scientology?
No, but by all means, tell me.
All right. So, the main part, the gist of it is that there used to be a confederation of planets, and humans all lived on an Earth that looked very similar to the 50s. It was a lot of like bikes and milkmen, and suburban houses. But the head of this confederacy was called Xenu, who was an evil alien overlord, and he decided to do a genocide on a number of the species of this confederacy of planets. So he dropped them. He took them to Earth in his spaceships, which looked like modern day 737 airplanes. And he dropped them in the volcanoes of Hawaii, and then he blew up the volcanoes with atom bombs. But then, the souls of the aliens all left the volcano and started floating up towards the sky. But Xenu sucked them into a big soul-catching magnet.
Oh.
And then he forced the souls to watch, like, footages of psychologists and Jesus and Buddha to all, like, confuse them.
Okay.
And then he let them out on Earth, and they floated around in a fog of confusion, and then they attached themselves to ancient man, like cavemen. And we still have them with us to this day. They're called Thetans, and they're responsible for all of our, like, fear and doubt and confusion. So Scientology is all about, like, doing this stuff with auditing where you hold on to the two silver things when you're hooked up to like an electronic meter, and they have you replay traumatic events over and over until you've cleared yourself of thetans. That's going clear.
God, that is.
And their pitch is like, not only is it like good as self-help, it'll help you clear your trauma, but like the more clear of thetans you get, the less thetans you have, the more you have like superpowers essentially. Like they say like, oh, if you're at level 7 of being clear of thetans, you can start like doing telepathy and stuff.
I mean, Tom Cruise does seem superhuman sometimes.
Yeah, so it might be because he's clear of all them thetans.
Yeah, might be. That's batshit insane, but...
Now, the evil part of Scientology is, well, they're making you replay all your past traumas. They are recording and writing it all down, so they have blackmail material for you.
Of course they do.
Oh, yeah, and the whole reason that it looks like the 50s and the spaceships look like jet airplanes is because that's all our memories of our past lives, or why we ended up designing a world that looked remarkably similar to Xenu's Confederacy of Planets. So a lot of people do look at these films through the lens of their metaphors for Scientology, because Ethan Hunt is definitely a very clear man, because he has almost superhuman, abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey. Maybe he is clear of all them thetans.
Yeah. He's free of them. Yeah, John Reno doesn't stick around across these. One of my favorite Frenchmen.
No, he doesn't.
Star of the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
I forgot that Ving Rhames' whole thing is like, I'm a nerd. I'm a big-ass nerd.
Yeah, like, he's all about, like, oh, I love that tech. Like... He is really good. I've always liked that he's in all of these.
Oh yeah, Ving Rhames is an old friend.
Yep. I mean, him and what you call it there? Him as Cobra Bubbles, like, can't go wrong. His delivery in the cartoon of, the stupid head when they see him again is like all-timer stuff. Did you ever kill anybody?
I hope there's a good heist in Final Reckoning, because there isn't really there's not a heist in Dead Reckoning, right?
Dead Reckoning at least has, which I do like, that whole scene where they pretend to be Vanessa Kirby to get the key on the train before the big train fight.
Yeah.
I remember liking that part. I know that's when a few people think the movie gets too long and boring, but I kind of liked it as, like, actual espionage. I have heard, and who knows if it's right or wrong, but I guess a big beef of Dead Reckoning is that it doesn't do a lot of the fun spy stuff as much. It's like way too busy with exposition and wrapping up the character arcs or whatever. But I could be wrong. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. I still want to see it, and I will be seeing it in some manner of IMAX in the next week or two.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Maybe not the big IMAX where I went to see the Dude and the Sinners and whatnot, but a large one nevertheless. Oh, here we go.
Look at Ving Rhames.
Iconic.
Oh, ad. I almost forgot. Wait, we're at the halfway point, that means. Damn, this movie goes by fast. Alright, pause.
Yeah, we're already there's less than an hour to go of this motion picture. You're gonna break into Langley with the zip line, or not the zip line,
I have 2 minutes. I will be back. I'm going to grab a soda.
All right, don't hurry, because you'll miss the dangling from the ceiling. Well, Tanner's gone. I will tell everyone that Langley, some fun facts about Langley is I don't know nothing about Langley except for movies.
All right, I'm back. Have you had Liquid Death?
No, what's Liquid Death?
It is flavoring sparkling water. I'm trying to not drink as much soda
on real soda.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
This is cherry flavored, so it's called Cherry Obituary.
Oh, I've seen these. I thought it was booze. It's sparkling water. I'm gonna try it actually. That sounds kind of cool.
It's not bad. It just has a it's got that aftertaste, but you just have to kind of accept that because like it's the sugar that makes the aftertaste. So
yeah, it's only the aftertaste because it's the absence of sugar.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'll give it a try. At the moment, I usually go Polar is my bubbly water of choice. Particularly black cherry Polar. I think actually you can kind of trick yourself into thinking it's soda, even though it's obviously unsweetened. But
yeah, it's not bad. It just has that, like I said, and you want to drink it while it's still carbonated because once it isn't carbonated, it goes downhill real fast. But
yeah. That's true of most sparkling water. When I leave it in a cup overnight, I'm like, oh, this just tastes like bitter water now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's got it's not bad, not great, but
I might give it a try after our Mission Impossible-a-thon, or during maybe.
All right, you ready to press play?
Hold on. How many minutes and seconds are you at?
55:46. They're driving towards. I have a
horrible confession to make, Tanner.
You've been playing this whole entire time.
Yes, I forgot to hit. But alright, I'm back at 55:46.
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. Alright. So I was actually talking with our listeners about Langley, but thankfully you came back pretty soon, so there was nothing that happened that I really got to talk about. Anywho, that's a cool ass De Palma shot.
That is a very cool ass De Palma shot.
It's kind of funny because it's obviously much smaller than this series got, but yeah. It's still pretty exciting. You know, it feels like almost like Silence of the Lambs era, like that kind of '90s thriller where we're like going across the country or whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. I remember it does have a big old train chase at the end. They basically like save all their budget for like one big action scene at the end.
Of this one or of the other one?
No, this first one has a train chase as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's where things get kind of like he's hanging off the CGI train and stuff. So the blockbuster thrills kind of get saved for the end.
What the hell is that noise? Is Kittredge actor in anything super good?
I'm not sure, actually. I was thinking that, because I actually, like, watching his handsome face in this one, I'm kind of like, he should be, because I really do like him in these movies.
Yeah, I kind of want to see him do something.
As a straight man. He's third build, which is kind of wild in this movie. Okay, the Ice Storm. He's one of the dads in the Ice Storm, which is a great but very depressing movie from the 90s with baby Tobey Maguire and Elijah Wood.
What's that movie about?
That is like two families that are like, I think they're locked into an upper suburban house during a snowstorm in the 70s, and they kind of have all these weird psychological, sexual like back and forths. It's really good, but it's super depressing. And warning for Tanner: a kid death ends up being a big.
Oh yeah, doesn't surprise me about that one.
So he's in that. He's in. I don't know who he plays in it, but he was in Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay.
Scream 6.
He's in Scream 6?
Yeah, I don't know who he plays in that one either. The Pink Panther, the A-Team remake.
Oh my! He's in the A-Team remake.
Yeah, so he never really popped like he should have. I feel.
Yeah, dude's got a really handsome face.
Mm-hmm.
He should have gone all in on being like a cop or detective or something.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he's actually. I just looked at his films. Maybe he was on a. Feel like he would star in a Law and Order type show.
Yeah.
Or something. Henry Czerny, and he's Canadian. No, he wasn't in a lot of TV movies. Looks like he wasn't even really like a lead on a TV show, which is also kind of a bummer. He was in The Tudors. He was, I guess, a big character on the Tudors. Oh, he played Toyman in 2 episodes of Supergirl, the CW show.
Wait, he was Toyman?
Yeah, in CW Supergirl.
That's fascinating.
Okay, he was the lead in Revenge. That other.
There's not also a CW show where the girl wants revenge.
Yeah, he was like in all 3 seasons of that as a main character. So maybe we got to watch Revenge. Is he in Final Reckoning, though?
I imagine he's got to be in Final Reckoning.
Let me check.
Imagine if they didn't have Kittredge.
He is. Oh, thank God. They don't just leave him at Dead Reckoning. All right, but I am missing the most famous scene in the first one. This cool ass heist they do, which was parodied and everything. In Shrek 2, they do a spoof of this where Pinocchio goes down with his strings, to break him out of jail.
Yep, and I believe is wearing a thong.
Yes, because they say tell a lie so your nose will grow, and he says say you're wearing ladies' underwear. And he's like, I'm wearing ladies' underwear, and his nose doesn't grow, so you're like, oh, he is wearing ladies' underwear. Pretty good.
Have you ever felt a desire to go back to the Shrek franchise?
I remember I've rewatched the first one, and I still have a lot of affection for that one. And Shrek 2, I remember having some really good jokes in it, like when they do the Cops parody, but with knights.
Right.
They, like, bust Puss in Boots for catnip. I guess it's kind of like Austin Powers, actually. I have a lot of affection for him as, like, a lot of good gags, but I don't know if I'd call them, like...
Good movies?
Good movies, per se. And really, it is only 1 and 2 I'll stand up for. The rest, like, can get lost. I don't care.
The new one coming out has got like Zendaya in it as their daughter or something.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I still have not seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but people say like that one at least has cool Spider-Verse ripoff animation.
Yeah, and I think people really love the villain because it's Death.
Yeah, it's with an evil wolf. Yeah, who's Death. So. Oh wait! Did I see The Last Wish? I might have seen and just memory hold it. Hold on. I I don't think so. I don't think I've seen it. Okay. I made up that I watched Puss in Boots the last.
You had to
I was
fact
looking
check
back
it.
through my because much like your better half, I keep like a long list of the movies I've watched, and I'm not seeing no Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So
I always do that at the start of the year, and then halfway through, it just ends.
you start forgetting to keep it up.
Yep.
Anywho, I'm missing the best part: him dangling from the ceiling there. Look at his nerd glasses. That might be in tribute to his dead friend Emilio Estevez. So. But see, okay, so like, if the people that got pissed that it betrayed the sense of teamwork from the original just...
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bit.
In,
yeah, there's a whole bit where he has to assemble a team again and do this.
Yeah, and then they're all helping each other out, so, like, yeah, like, it was just, I guess, similar to Last Jedi. Everyone just kind of pooped their pants instead of, like, realizing that the movie actually addresses all the stuff you're mad about. Like... I feel like the second one, he's more of a lone wolf, right?
Well, in the second one, it's just him, isn't it? I don't think he gets a team. Because he's got that
like,
girl, he's got a...
Yeah, he's teamed up with the lady,
yeah.
his lady friend, but, like, yeah. And that one's a remake of Notorious, a different Alfred Hitchcock movie.
You know what?
Hmm.
This is going to sound crazy, but back then, this era of Tom Cruise might not have made a bad Nightwing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah?
He could have been a hell of a Nightwing, yeah, if they did a movie with, like, Batman and Tim Drake, and then, like, Dick Grayson Nightwing comes back, and they talk about how they fell out together, or whatever.
Yeah. He would have been...
And Henry Czerny could have been Batman.
Yeah, he it would have been interesting to see him try and get that, like, Dick level charisma.
Yeah, see if he could pull that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Tom Cruise is at his most interesting when he's trying to be charismatic, like your Jerry Maguires and your this movie and your in Risky Business.
Yeah, Risky Business, where he's Ooh, a W-9 form. Oh no, they're talking about it. I'm still traumatized from having to do taxes this year. I really don't enjoy doing taxes.
That is so strange for me, but I have come to realize that taxes to most people is not what taxes are to me, because so I let them take out the maximum amount every year, and I also, one of the benefits of having Spawn is that you get to claim them on your tax return. So tax return for me is always a celebration, because usually I get like $6,000 back every year.
Oh no, actually, for kind of the same for me, but for different reasons. It's because I work like menial temp jobs that I actually end up usually getting a return at the end, because I'm like a very low income man.
Right.
So that part's cool. I just find the paperwork aspect of it, for whatever reason, I have like a phobia of doing any kind of paperwork. Like, I put it off forever. It's always really painful for me.
Really?
Yeah,
so I just use TurboTax, so I just basically have to upload it and they do the rest of it.
See, I should probably get like a TurboTax or an accountant. Usually I just do Free Tax Act and just, plug and chug. I don't do any like jiggery pokery to get a...
See, you should try TurboTax, because all I have to do is give them my W-2 and they're like, oh, we can do the rest.
Yeah. But even more than TurboTax, though, I'm an advocate for the approach other countries do, where it's something the government just sends you at the end of the year saying, like, hey, we did your taxes, this is what you get, or this is what you owe, and if you want to challenge or try to get more, you're welcome to get the forms, but otherwise it's just done for you. I like that a lot more.
That does sound very nice.
But failing that, I'll give TurboTax a try. See if that makes my life easier. Or get an accountant. Why not? I'm living in a part of California where there are a lot of Armenian accountants firms. I can get one of them to be my family accountant, my one-man family.
Dude, I love how sick this dude looks. Like, wouldn't you just go home at that point? Like, you look like death is literally about to claim you at any point.
And he's got to protect the grid with the disc on it or whatever. So, a man's duty comes first. Uh-oh, here comes the drip drop. Even a bead of sweat will set it off.
You gotta pull him up, man.
Yeah. Ooh, another really good Brian De Palma movie is Sisters, which is like a crazy-ass psychological horror thriller that gets kind of... Malignant would make a real good double feature with Sisters, not to spoil Sisters too much, but...
Really? I do love...
Yeah, they got a similar reveal and vibe.
I watched somebody watch Malignant for the first time and find out about the reveal of Malignant, which is one of the better it was one of the better reveals out there. Yeah.
Whew. That knife thing got me a little tense.
I know. Yeah.
I've already seen this movie, and I know what's going to happen.
It's a really good scene. Like, imagine if you saw that, though. Like, you would immediately call for a lockdown. Like, this knife definitely was not in here last I left.
No, I'd be like, is the secretary, like, in the other room? Is she, like, threatening my life? Somebody carved, like, death and hate all over my desk while I was away. This is freaking me out. Oh, okay. He knows right away something's up. This poor sick man. And now he's gassing them all. Just on the way out, just gassing everybody.
Well, that is a Ethan Hunt staple. He does that. One of the guy I watched do commentary said he hit him with that goblin gas at that moment in
he does.
Dead Reckoning where they green gas him.
Yeah, and in the one we're about to watch, Dead Reckoning. So again, like these movies are weirdly like the closest to each other out of all of them. But he even wears like a Green Goblin, like he's got a crazy like Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 3 mask.
Yeah, he does. Yep, he does.
When he's
look how close these two are. They're about to kiss.
Yeah,
just kiss.
That shot, they should have smooched. I'm sad they didn't. That shot is a hallmark of Brian De Palma. He's always doing those. They're called split diopter shots, where you would splice together the foreground and background of the same scene to make them look like they're equally in focus, but there would be a little blurring around the edges. It was a cool, old-fashioned camera trick they don't do anymore.
What was Brian De Palma's last movie?
He did, with I believe old Jamie Lannister there, a thriller called Domino. It was like straight to video, and he said was like they recut it against his will.
Oh, okay.
But, we should do a commentary on it. It's only 89 minutes. It's got Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, and Guy Pearce is the bad guy.
I do love Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Oh, the tagline is "Murder can lead to deadlier crimes."
Wait, what? What's deadlier than murder?
I'll add the poster for Domino to the chat.
But what's deadlier than murder? What's the deadlier crime than murder? Now I'm intrigued.
Oh, double murder of 2 people? I guess. Genocide?
Man, Jamie Lannister is looking old in that picture.
Yeah, he's a faded man at this point.
You know what? That poster looks very, very similar to a Mission Impossible poster. And the fact that it says right on there from the director of Mission Impossible really makes me feel like somebody was like, okay, let's make this as Mission Impossible looking as possible.
We gotta get that mission. We gotta skim that Mission Impossible money. It's true, like the rushing, like kind of diagonal line.
Yeah,
like,
didn't they do that in a Mission Impossible poster?
Yeah, I think Rogue Nation looks very similar. Yeah,
I'm looking now because I'm curious. Yeah, no, it looks like here. There have been several posters, but
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Let's see. Yep, exactly. Where it's all like got a slant. Oh, the Dead Reckoning one. That's right.
The Dead Reckoning one.
Bump, 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 bump,
bump.
I like these movies. They're pretty good. And look, he's being weird again, showing off his data disc in his pants.
This is when he does his magic trick.
Yeah, he's doing his sleight of hand. Like that new Now You See Me movie. Where they're the 4 horsemen, that's their thing, right?
I'm so confused by that movie because it also has fucking Morgan Freeman as he says my horseman, but he was the bad guy in those 2 movies.
That threw me too, because I was like, wait, they screw him at the end of the first one and he's in jail in the second one. But
yeah, and he's still I don't remember in the second one whether or not... Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the second one reveals that he's been secretly for them the whole time.
Yeah, that makes sense, because the end of the first one is Mark Ruffalo. Spoilers to our listeners who haven't heard about the stories of Now You See Me, but Mark Ruffalo is like the cop chasing them, but at the end he turns out to be the leader of the Eye of Horus and invites them into the magical...
Yeah, no. Now that I'm remembering it, Now You See Me, the second one... reveals that secretly he was a horseman the entire time.
Yeah,
and
so they do the Mark Ruffalo twist in the second one.
Yes, with Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Yeah, a magic, the Grandmaster of the Eye and a friend of Lionel Shrike, who is Mark Ruffalo's daddy, who he does this this for, yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo's out after the first one, right? He's not in 2.
No, he is in 2. Ruffalo is in 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he is in 2. Okay.
Yep.
Does he get back with his French lady?
Well, here's the funny thing. So Thaddeus reveals himself as the group's leader and a former partner of Lionel Shrike, Dylan's father. He names Dylan as his successor, and the Horsemen are welcomed into the organization. So the second one ends with Morgan Freeman specifically saying, "You're the new guy," but I guess because they couldn't get Mark Ruffalo back, they had to go back on that and say, "Oh wait, you're not the guy anymore. Morgan Freeman's the guy again."
Maybe he dies between the films. They kill him off and
that
say,
would be
like,
so fucking funny.
Gotta take over again because Mark Ruffalo was killed in action or something.
You know, that might be a good Power Hour commentary as well. Now you see me, now you see me
trilogy.
Now you see me too.
And Now You See Me, Now You Don't, finally.
Because Now You See Me, Now You See Me too has fucking Harry Potter in it. And I remember him being kind of not great, but like it's one of the rare things where he's playing a villain.
Yeah, you get to see an evil Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mainly remember Lizzie Kaplan in the second one. She
Yep.
takes her clothes off, which is
Yeah.
important.
Is important. Oh, Rosamund Pike is the bad guy in the third one.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer. That movie does not look that great.
No, it does not. But isn't Rosamund Pike isn't she my Gone
Amazing
Girl?
Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's
She is
such a
indeed.
good
She was
movie.
also in that Wheel of Time show that just got canceled.
That's a good double feat. You know, when we finally get around to doing Deep Water, we should just fucking go all in and do a double, do a back to back. Yeah, Gone Girl.
I am so on board with that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
We're getting there with Deep Water. I just want to watch my list of other movies based on books by Patricia Highsmith. I also did kind of want to, because there was an 80s French adaptation of the Deep Water.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so I was thinking we should also follow up the Ben Affleck one with the 80s one to see how they compare. Good old Henry Zuri tugging on his tie.
I like how Kittredge doesn't sound the least bit, Oh, look, it's John Voight! Spoiler! But it very clearly is John Voight in the other booth.
Oh, it is? Cool.
Yeah, remember, yeah, I mean, you can see the back of his head. I'm almost positive that's him.
Yeah, because this is when he comes out and is like, yeah, I didn't die and I actually killed all our team or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm the baddie. A lot of things we should do commentary on, especially De Palma-wise, but have you seen Carlito's Way with Al Pacino?
No.
That movie, there he is! What? That movie has a chase through a train station at the end, a subway station, that is, like, one of the best action scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
Like,
really?
really terrific stuff, yeah. Like, that whole movie is good, but, like, the ending is, like, 11 out of 10, so it's, like, one of my favorite movies just for the way it resolves.
Why is John Voight so sweaty?
He's been running around. He just gave birth to Angelina Jolie, his daughter. I guess his cast is hurting him.
Gasp.
No way. Oh, but this is a double twist, because he's like, I'm alive, but Kittredge is the bad guy.
Yeah, you need to defeat that no good dastardly.
Yep. Now, see, this is where Tom Cruise's performance I'm struggling with a little bit, because I don't know if I'm supposed to believe that Ethan believes this, or if he's double.
No, I think
bluffing John
Ethan is
Voight.
double bluffing John Voight.
Yeah, because, okay, so it wasn't just him being a bad actor, he was actually trying to look like fake surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, because we're
I should
seeing.
never have doubted. I should never have doubted my boy, Tom Cruise. I guess I'm not good at reading sarcasm.
Is it sarcasm or just him like figuring it out? It looks a lot funnier. It looks a lot funnier when you actually see him doing this.
Yeah, it could just be that he's in real time putting it together in his head.
I think he's in real time putting it together.
Yeah, but the way it looked like he was like, oh wow, you're right, it definitely was Kittredge. But you know, he's actually I'm like, no, it was clearly you jerk. Oh, and that's why there's no more Jean Reno after this one, because he was part of the plot. Would it have worked a little better if the bad guy of Dead Reckoning was Jean Reno?
No. Well, John Reno's just a rando.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have a long history with Ethan Kraft there.
Did you say Ethan Kraft?
I did. I was making a Lizzie McGuire reference.
I appreciate it. I'm really sad that Lizzie McGuire show didn't get picked up by Disney Plus.
Yeah, the revival, they were just like, no thank you, which is kind of crazy, because that is like one of their signature programs, and it probably would have been a hit, right?
Yeah. They didn't like it because it was going to be like modernish and stuff, and it was going to be her as like a real woman, but I feel like that's kind of Disney's kind of. I mean, now you go on to Disney Plus and like 20 of the things it recommends to you are from Hulu. So
yeah. Like what else would like this is why I'm like anti these endless revivals, because it's like, well, what else would a Lizzie McGuire revival be except her in the modern day, right?
Yeah. I guess he realized that Ethan put it together?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, no, okay, no, he's still saying...
Oh, yeah, he's still being like, yeah, let's get our revenge on that jerk Kittredge.
God, Tom Cruise looks so fucking, like, young and on crack in this movie.
Yeah, man.
He looks like Chris. He kind of looks like Chris Evans in Fantastic Four. He's got the same kind of like spiked hair.
I was also thinking Ray Liotta in Goodfellas when he gets all coked up towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, that too.
We'll have to do a Goodfellas Terry, because you weren't, you couldn't get through it because you had seen Casino and Wolf of Wall Street, and it was too small by comparison after those two.
God, we have too many, like, we gotta do the Man-Terry and all that good stuff, but I would love a fucking, like, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, like just
Casino, Irishman,
Casino. That would be a fun, just maining commentary.
The Scorsese crime trilogy, where everything gets bigger and more white collar as it goes. And I do like his light stubble, though.
Yeah, no, like I said,
working. Even though, yeah, you're right. He does look very like a coke guy at the end of his rope a little bit.
Yep. He just needs to start shouting, "Show me the money."
Yep. Now she's sleeping in a sleeping bag.
This movie feels so different than any of the other ones. It's very funny because, like, even 2 is just like it's still actiony, and 3 is actiony as well.
This one is the most spy thrillery of all of them, because there's, like I said, there's kind of only one big action scene at the end, which we're still getting to.
Yeah, there's the big heist in the middle, and
there's him shooting the fish tank, but that's about it. Like, for the big stuff. And now he's all mistrustful of her, I believe. She's the femme fatale.
What's your favorite one-off?
Fatale?
No. What's your favorite one-off spy movie? besides Black Bag.
That's really Black Bag is a contender for sure. I'm pretty into that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with the Gary Oldman.
Yeah. There's a lot of serious ones I haven't seen, like Bridge of Spy and Tinker Tailor Spy. A lot of those I haven't actually seen yet, so.
We've seen Bridge of Spies. We saw it together.
We've watched Bridge of Spies together?
Yeah, when we live watched, this was like the origin story of our commentaries. We watched all the Tom Hanks Spielberg movies.
We only got, I don't think we got all of it. We didn't get through all of them, though. I don't think we finished. We got the Bridge of Spies. Wait, maybe we did.
Oh, we saw Bridge of Spies. We saw all 5 of them. We saw
Gosh.
Saving Private Ryan. We saw.
I remember Saving Private Ryan. Yep. I remember Terminal.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yep.
Bridge of Spies and The Post.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, because I remember watching The Post. It's all coming back.
Bridge of Spies has the bit where the guy gets shot down over Russian territory and he's flying around in the parachute and he's too cowardly to take his suicide pill that he's supposed to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch Bridge of Spies because I remember it now. That's a dang good movie.
Yeah, worth rewatching. Yeah, that's one of my favorites of the Spielberg Tom Hanks cycle.
Yeah. My vote would have been for, if we're talking one-offs, Man from U.N.C.L.E. I really like Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh yeah, Guy Ritchie's the man. Also based on a '60s TV show that I've never watched. I'm trying to think, what are some other good like spies?
Of course, the best spy TV show is The Americans,
which I ain't never watched.
I do miss this era of like electronics. Like, look at this fucking briefcase computer thing they got going on. What the fuck's up with that, man?
And yeah, see, like, again, how, like, Dead Reckoning weirdly mirrors this one a lot, because it also ends up on a train.
Somebody said in a commentary I like to watch, was like, oh, Tom Cruise was mad that he didn't get to do this for realsies in the first one, so he insisted it be in the sixth one, him fighting on a real train.
You see that? I buy that, actually. This is a very CGI-heavy climax. Oh, 3 Days of the Condor from the 70s and Day of the Jackal. Those are both very good spy movies that I'm remembering off the top of my head.
The hell is this? Did you check the battery?
Don't you give me that. Ring Rames, man. Cobra Bubbles himself.
Spoilers for the live action Disney Lilo and Stitch movie.
Don't tell me a word. I want to go in clean. No, I'm kidding.
I get that movies have to differentiate itself, but I will never get over how dumb it is. In that movie, Cobra Bubbles is hunting for Stitch, and he happens to track Stitch to Lilo's house, and he's outside of Lilo's house, listening through a parabolic microscope or whatever it is, and is like, and is listening in, and he hears talk of the social worker, and then he places a call to Langley or whatever the CIA is based on. It's like, I need to go deep undercover, arrange for me to be this social worker, and that is so very dumb. I hate it. I hate it so much.
that guts the emotional content of that whole movie. That Cobra Bubbles is a legitimately concerned social worker.
He is there for Lilo. Stitch is secondary. Damn it, he is there for that child's well-being. And the fact that he happens to also be involved in alien stuff is completely secondary to that. And the meaning that where he finally meets Lilo and Nani, he is solely interested in Stitch and getting a hair sample from him. I was very mad. They even invent a new because I didn't really say this part, but they have to invent a new character to be the social worker. Because they still need that. They still need that side of things. So there's a female who is trying to give Lilo a break, but is also like, "Hey, Lilo, Nani, if this is too much for you, we can figure this out."
They get rid of Cobra Bubbles and then give his stuff to another character.
Yes, they do.
He doesn't point at Nani and say "new job," and then he doesn't point at Stitch and say "model citizen."
No,
that's a great scene when
he does
giving them their.
No, he's just there to get a fucking sample of Stitch's hair, so he can send it back to Langley to make sure it's the real deal.
Make sure he's a real alien, even though he just looks like an alien.
Well, remember, Stitch. The whole thing about Lilo, the whole weirdness of Lilo. Oh, it's a mask,
and he's once again in a David Byrne giant suit.
Yeah, it is so fucking weird that they do that. Because, like I said, they have to invent an entirely new character to justify the social worker aspect.
Kaka Cuckoo.
Oh, look, it's John Voight. He's the bad guy. Haha.
He was the villain the whole time. Even though we already knew that.
I do like his tactical gear.
He does look kind of cool, like a rainbow, like a Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six guy. Ah!
Oh no!
Oh no! Ew!
Ew!
Yeah, hey, let's stop talking about me as the goods and get out of here. This is
so wait, because John Voight killed his wife, right? Isn't that black? Isn't the raven-haired woman? Isn't that her? Isn't that his wife?
Yeah. So I guess it was kind of a dig, maybe because they were making eyes at each other. Her and Tom Cruise. He was like, "Yeah, you coveted my wife, so now I'm gonna covet this lady." I don't know. I could be making all of that up, but that might be what's going down. Which again makes this a very different vibe, because this is more of a De Palma thing where everyone's kind of a sleazebag and morally ambiguous. This is not where the Ethan Hunt we know and love, what he would be getting up to.
Wouldn't you think to check him for those cameras? Because, that's clearly a move you've all been doing for...
Yeah, they're always giving each other the pat down of, you got any things on you? Mics or whatever? You wearing a wire?
Would it be fun if John Voight came back as the villain in Final Reckoning? And was, the AI's last, dude? I don't remember how he dies, but I'm sure he...
Maybe they do a Lex Luthor Brainiac fusion.
Yeah, they do a malignant fusion. He's just in the back of the man. One of the other crazy things about the Lilo and Stitch live action movie is that there's no Gantu, which is crazy. Yeah, I just wanted to
cut out my boy Gantu.
They cut out the Fish King himself, Gantu.
Yep.
Who, as you reminded me, wants to eat Lilo in the ending of that movie.
Yeah, when he catches Stitch and Lilo in the little like glass thing, he's like, "Oh, and I have a snack for the way back." So he's like gonna eat that kid, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, you can just practically. Why would Tom Cruise be happy with this clearly CGI?
Yeah, it's haunted him to this day. I could have done it, man. I could have been on a bullet train.
He proved he could. He could.
Yeah, this climax is not as amazing as the ones to come, because that's not really Brian De Palma's bag. I don't feel is doing big budget spectacle. I mean, it's kind of neat because it's got like, again, that whole De Palma thing of what's real and what's not. The way it kind of looks like an old timey rear projector.
Yeah.
But it's still not amazing. The Hugh Jackman Wolverine kind of rips it off, though, because they do a similar fight where they're, like, letting go of the train to slide to each other. The one where he's in Japan.
Right, the Wolverine.
Yeah, kind of does this action scene again. Man, John Voight's character really came prepared. He's got goggles and
I mean, he did arrange for this.
It's true, but it's kind of funny that he, instead of just wearing a cool suit for the climax, he's like, "No, I should look like I really came prepared for this." I went to a sporting goods to get all the right rock climbing equipment.
I gotta stop at the Dick's Sporting Goods before I get onto this train.
I get all the right the necessary tools for my escape. Oh, and right, doesn't he hook him into that helicopter where he gets cut up into a blaze of bloody chunks? Or does he get smushed? I don't remember.
I don't know. I mean, he's about to go.
I guess I'm about to find out. So, yeah, that don't look amazing. I will say, though, that's something I remember having a problem with Dead Reckoning a little bit in Fallout, is even though all the stunts are clearly real, there is a little too much, like, digital chicanery around them, which is kind of distracting.
This looks insane. It kind of looks like Spy Kids right now.
It does. That purely cartoon helicopter kind of defying the laws of physics right now. Yeah, this looks very Island of Lost.
The idea that this helicopter would be this straight and fucking...
Yeah, I don't know how
crazy.
John Reno, greatest helicopter pilot of all time, to be able to fly as fast as this super fast train, keeping it level inside of a tunnel.
Triple X State of the Union kind of has a similar look to it, because that movie ends. That movie climaxes at on the presidential bullet train, meant to get him out of the White House if there's any nefarious things going on. And Ice Cube has to get on the train, so he gets like this souped up sports car and has to drive on the train tracks to get to it. It's a very weird movie. Mm-hmm. Willem Dafoe tries to take over the United States.
We should do it just for my boy Dafoe. I would do it for him alone.
He's not a bad villain.
Not that I bear Ice Cube any ill will. Willem Dafoe, he's also the villain in Speed 2, so that's crazy. You always like villains in the second one in unnecessary sequels.
Wait. Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Yeah, he's the villain.
Wait, he's the villain in Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Yeah.
Oh.
Who makes the boat that can't slow down or whatever.
I've never. Well, I've seen like bits of it, but oh my
this is very
god, it has the most. No wonder Tom Cruise had to go back to a train. Look at this nonsense.
Okay, it would be hard to bring back John Voight there.
He just comes back as an android.
Yeah, he'd have to be a robot. But Speed 2 is funny because it's Sandra Bullock, but Keanu Reeves is...
Yeah, no, I know. And the only thing I remember about that movie is that there's a bit at the beginning where she's like, oh, this is why I broke up with my boyfriend, Keanu Reeves, because he was always rushing into danger or something like that. But then she dates another cop, right? Is it?
Yeah, she falls in love with another guy in that movie who's another Keanu Reeves-y type guy. But I remember that movie never shuts up about Keanu Reeves, like, even though he's not in it.
Really? Like, they just keep mentioning him?
Yeah, don't you miss Keanu Reeves? Keanu Reeves. See, Kittredge and this lady got sparks, I think.
Ooh.
Maybe he's Vanessa Kirby's dad, though.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because he's making eyes with her mom. At
that would be fun.
Though I guess she probably would have been born already at this point. Like
I don't know. She's pretty youngish. How old's Vanessa Kirby? Like 30s?
Yeah, I guess she's Fallout's 2018 and this is 96. So yeah, I guess she could have been like early. Maybe the White Widow is early 20s. Aw, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be doing this forever.
For a long
Deadpool
time.
pops out until you're 90.
Yeah.
But in this case, Tom Cruise is like, where do I sign that paper at?
Yep. He was done with it. He's like, get me out of these.
Oh, not Tom Cruise, man. He's one day, man.
Oh, one day the Grim Reaper will come for him for sure.
That should be his that should be his final movie is him fighting the Grim Reaper. Like, imagine if he planned his death and was like, okay, I finally hit 150. I've got to retire, but I don't want to retire, so I'm just going to die. Okay, but I want to die on a movie. Tom Cruise, this is crazy. We can't kill you in a movie. No, you don't understand. I want to fight the Grim Reaper. Mission Impossible, the final Grim Reaper.
I mean, I guess that's kind of what the entity is itself in some ways, because it wants a nuclear holocaust or whatever. No, but he's getting a little...
He's getting his mission.
I always liked in Rogue Nation. That's the reason why that was one of my favorites.
Next up, Mission Impossible 7, Dead Reckoning. Amazon is literally starting Dead Reckoning for me. Not the second movie, not the third movie.
The entity was listening to us, man. It knew what we were doing next.
Oh, I'm gonna cut this, but hang on, because I'm gonna let the minute 30 here while I'm letting the minute 36 seconds play. I can't believe that Amazon was literally like, "Hey, you liked the first of this movie? Well, guess what? You can go watch the seventh one right now. No, not the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth or the sixth one. The seventh one. That is."
I'm telling you, man, the entity was listening in. It knew our every move before we make it.
That is so fucking funny. But yeah, that was Mission Impossible. You know what? I really enjoyed that. It did kind of make me a little sad that we don't get the like you said, the hey, this is this director's take on Mission Impossible. This is this director's take.
I liked that about the first 5, and yeah, even though obviously, like, I understand, because, like, it's a new era of Tom Cruise where it's, like, the stunts get bigger and bigger, so, like, and he and Christopher McQuarrie, like you said, hit it off, like, you know, are not skipping through a meadow together.
It's a holy, it's a holy union.
Yeah, so I get that, but, and again, it's me, I guess similar to the review you were talking about, that I'm looking a gift horse in the mouth, where it's like, I mean, if it's badass stunts of the last 3, I shouldn't be too sad, but on some level I do kind of miss when it felt like an anthology series.
Yeah,
a little bit.
No, I agree with you. The Brian De Palma one reminded me of reminded me of that. And if I remember, the John Woo one is very like actiony in that John Woo way. That's really fun. You know, with him,
it's very John Woo.
Yeah, with him climbing the thing at the beginning and the all the insane bike, and that one's very gun heavy too, if I remember correctly, which is not a thing that is in a lot of these movies.
No, this series does not have a lot of gunplay, except for that second one where it's all the John Woo, just endless shootouts, slow motion, doves flying everywhere kind of thing.
One day, man, I am going to just sit down and John Woo it up, man. Especially now, isn't now like it's actually obtainable? Like you can actually go and watch those movies.
They just announced it. I haven't read any updates since, but yeah, earlier last year or this year announced like finally the rights issues are resolved for a lot of those like Better Tomorrow and the original Killer and Hard Boiled, that they might actually start showing up where you can actually watch them. Yeah,
man, because I remember it was like impossible to watch any of his movies. Like what, a year or two ago when I tried to sit down and watch them, I could only watch.
I had to send you like an archive.com link for Hard Boiled because it was not legally anywhere.
Yeah. Hard Boiled is such a good movie with the fucking.
Which is insane because that might be the best action movie of all time. Like it's a real contender, and that it could not be normally viewed as. Looks like it's still not available for streaming, but I guess that might change soon. Is the promise?
Here's hoping, man, because one day, man, I gotta research. I gotta drink at the teat of that altar.
Yeah, and Bullet to the Head, and Better Tomorrow, and The Killer. I mean, you've seen Face Off, which is awesome. I adore Face Off. That is the John Woo of it all.
Oh, God, Face Off is such a good movie. But that's not the movies we're talking about. For now, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this commentary so we can go right into Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which has already played, and I don't have any ads for it this time.
Already queued up, but any final thoughts before we jump over to the next of this double feature?
You know what? If Final Reckoning is really his final reckoning, I think we should get a reboot of this series. They should James Bond it. They should just commit. Maybe bring back, because you're never gonna get an Ethan Hunt, right? You're never gonna get another Tom Cruise Ethan Hunt. So maybe what you do is reboot it as a James Bond and recenter it back on Voight's character and fly it back to maybe the 90s or the early 80s. Because I miss period movies. I feel like we don't get a lot of period movies nowadays. So maybe you do that. Maybe you James Bond it. New Bond, but don't try and do another Ethan Hunt. Maybe just do another whatever that guy's name is, Phelps or whatever is in universe.
Bring it all the way back and just do like the TV show.
Yeah,
I would not be opposed to that per se.
Because you're not gonna get Ethan. Because you know at the end of the day, Ethan Hunt it's not like a James Bond situation, right? Like Ethan Hunt's always gonna be Tom Cruise. So
yeah, and then like you say, because he's not a character from the show, like there's no real like history. They have there's no like legacy of Ethan Hunt. It's just Tom Cruise. So
yeah,
I feel like post Tom Cruise they should. I think we talked about this on another episode, but yeah, they should like just do a reboot. I kind of agree, and like maybe bring it tonally closer to this one, maybe more to the TV show, whatever that is.
Yeah, no, I agree. Make it a bring back, like you said, the anthology of it all. Get back to like, hey, this is because I feel like Mission Impossible used to be something else. It could probably be something else again. It's not like Fast and Furious where like it's really make or break by its like what it is. Like these movies were clearly popular before the whole Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise holy union of it all. So like bring that back.
Yeah, why the heck not?
But all right, that's gonna be it for this one. We will see you all in our final reckoning. No, wait, we're not final reckoning yet. We're dead reckoning, so we can prepare for our final reckoning.
Yeah, Final Reckoning we might have to do as like a soapbox episode maybe when we both see once we both see it.
Yeah.
Our takeaways.
But for now, our mission, if we choose to accept it, will be to finish this commentary, which is going to self-destruct in 3, 2, 1.